All right, guys, I'm going to wait for some more people to come on here. We just had a power outage here in Austin, which interrupted my previous live stream a couple minutes into it. So I am going to start right now. What I want to talk about today is the game within the game of running a business. All right. And I want to take your questions as well. If you guys have any thoughts or questions that are going through your head. Mickey, thanks. Thank you. I'm back. There was a power outage here for all of you guys. Literally, the entire power went out in my whole house and just shut everything off. I guess that's how these wild times that we're in and doing live streams. But it came back on and we're good to go. So I'm just going to start over and get back into it for you guys. So yeah, I was talking about the game within the game, right? And so the way that every business owner thinks about their decisions is extremely important. And, you know, and to recap, I was saying that, you know, business owners usually just kind of get up and they just work on that next priority. And they just, you know, they tend to think like, hey, if I only can do this next thing, then I'll just get to that next level. And, you know, what's the next task I need to do? And you can get really caught up in the details. And I think that you really need to step back at a higher level and, you know, look down at like 30,000 foot view of the way that you are doing things, because the game within the game is actually the quality of your decision making. Okay. It's the quality of your thinking. And because the quality of your decision making is going to determine the decisions that you make today, tomorrow, the next day, and so forth. And those stack up together. And that determines the trajectory of your business. If your decision making is lower quality, you might have been running in circles for a year. Okay. On the other hand, if the quality of your decision making is really good and they are compounding, you know, one on top of the other, then the trajectory of your business is going to be going in the right direction, in a really good direction. And so it is so important. Okay. So the photographers and artists, you know, as you think about this, you can see that the photographers and artists that are the most successful are the ones that are making the highest quality decisions every day, every week, you know, and it's the way that they think about their business. So I think the important thing here is that once you understand this, once you really get this and you really internalize it, you start thinking about the way that you make decisions. You're able to examine, and that's what I want you guys to do. I want you to examine the way that you've been making decisions, like the last week, the last year, the last 2 years. How do you do that? Is it just you alone? Are you making really high quality decisions? Do you know if you are? Really look into that and examine that, because if you solve that, then you are solving something at the highest level. It doesn't matter what the small little detailed tactical is of whether you send an email this way or that way, or you do a social media post this way or that way. Those are all short-term small things. But if you really are making high quality decisions and you can set yourself up to do that, then everything is going to change. And that's obviously a big part of the reason why we are doing these live workshops, why we've started doing this, why we've added this new feature for all of the Art Storefronts members of getting live one-on-one coaching, where we're actually going to talk to you specifically about your business. And once again, that's every Tuesday and Friday at 12:30 Pacific, 2:30 Central, and 3:30 Eastern, right? So every week. So I want to make sure that you're coming in with your questions about your specific business so we can help you with, you know, anything and guide you and coach you as much as possible. So that's a really important thing. And something that I do, I'm just going to pass this along. I care about this so much that, you know, I think about like what books I'm reading. I have a journal. I totally recommend doing this. It's one of the most that I've ever done in my career. Is I have a business journal, right? And I use Evernote. It's a great app for your computer and your phone. And I love that it syncs to all of these devices. So you basically have it on you at all times. But I basically have a business journal, and I just have the date, you know, and a bullet point under each day. And I don't do it every day. I just do it whenever I have something that's important, because I want to audit the quality of my thinking. So it's not like an idealist. It's the way that I'm thinking about the business. And obviously ideas come out in that, but I'm thinking about, whenever I'm making mistakes, or, I notice my own biases and tendencies that get in the way. And so that's what allows me to audit, myself and the quality of my thinking, so that I'm not wasting time, because I don't want to waste any time. I don't want to, I don't want to waste my life just going down the wrong path or going in circles. So I want you guys to think about that. There's also a second topic that I wanted to bring up that's on my mind. Cheers, by the way, if you have your morning beverage. I prefer coffee. So the other thing is, I'm just, and this is to those of you who have actually been selling offline, or just selling at all for a couple of years, or it doesn't matter if it's a couple of years, a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. If you've been actually selling decently well, I am so struck by the fact that nobody has been focusing on generating leads and building a lead list, a prospect list, email list, right? That's what it ultimately is, along with getting sales, and Patrick and I were talking about this yesterday, because there was an article that came out from Art Basel, and it was talking about how they did this. They had to adjust. They had to cancel this most recent one, and they did like a virtual online gallery instead. And an interesting takeaway or point that they made was that the artists made more money from their own websites than they did at in this Art Basel virtual gallery that they ran, right? So people might have seen them at the gallery and then went to their websites and then bought directly from the artists, which obviously proves the point that you got to have your own art gallery and have it be the centerpiece of your business and have it be amazing. Give it, an amazing experience. But the other point that they made was that there was a study done by some outfit in Switzerland or whatever, and they were studying like the global art market and specifically art shows and festivals. And they said that 64%, it is, if you will only sell 64% of your possible sales at the show. So if you are not collecting leads and you're not doing follow-up marketing and you're not playing the marathon game, playing the long game and trying to get a sale from somebody for, a couple months later, a year later, 2 years later, doesn't matter. If you're not playing that, you're missing out on 36% of the return on investment from any show or festival that you do. Okay. So that brings me back to my broader points of what I've been thinking about this morning and the last couple of days. And it's just that if you have been selling for the last year or two, and this concept of collecting leads aggressively is new to you, man, I am so happy for you. I am so happy for you, because that mindset, me shifting your mindset to understand that, is such a jump in quality of thinking that I don't even know what to tell you. I mean, it boggles my mind that people are not doing that already, but it is such a strong principle in business that if you are one of those people in that position and you have now shifted to thinking that way, and you do that for the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you're going to be in a great spot. Okay. It's not something that changes overnight. It's something that you got to keep collecting these things. And then your funnel builds and builds and builds and builds and builds and compounds and compounds. That's how you build a business. That's why I say that the number one metric for any art business is, and it's really for any business in general, but especially for art businesses, is the number of leads that you are acquiring every month, right? I don't even say the number of sales. I say the number of leads, because you will get sales if you have leads, right? So you've got to collect leads. You got to collect email addresses. Such a powerful thing. So going back to my other point about quality of thinking, it's like, you might have the best product in the world. You might be so talented, but if the quality of your thinking is very low, and then you're going to make low quality decisions, and you're going to go nowhere. You're going to be going in circles. And so like just updating that one thing right there. So notice it's not a tactic. It's not even like a marketing playbook that I'm giving you. It's like if I can change your mind preemptively to have higher quality thinking, and you apply that aspect to your business, it's going to have the biggest impact on your business for the next year or two or three, guaranteed. So I'm really excited about that. If you guys have any questions, please throw them in the comments here. Happy to help you with anything specifically regarding your business, or if you're just thinking about anything in general and you want to chat about it, I'm happy to do that. Trisha, okay, thanks. Glad that you can hear me. Glad that I'm back after my power outage. I'm going to look. It looks like some other people are looking to join in the group. I hope they're on here. It was Joy and Kimberly. Yes, I did have a little power outage, but I'm back. And you guys can drop any comments if you have any specific questions that you want me to answer about your business. So I think that also what I'm talking about here, it's not necessarily pandemic related, but it always is. I mean, you have to be thinking about what's going on right now and how you execute in the context of this. But yeah, the quality of your decision making, and that's why it is so important, you guys, that as you're executing on your business, that you attend these live workshops, because I want to make sure that we are there for you, that I'm there for you, Patrick's there for you, so that we can challenge the way that you're thinking about things, or we can confirm that you're on the right path. So important. Okay. I can't tell you how many times in my career, especially when I was in my 20s and I was a young entrepreneur and I just was so sure about everything, right? So sure about it. And then I would go and I would meet with one of my mentors, and he would say, he would just blow up my train of thought and just completely change my mind and change the way that I thought about things. And it was just amazing, because I was so sure about myself and so sure about the decisions I was making. And then, he would audit it and challenge me. And I'd usually fight him right on the spot. Like my initial reaction was usually to fight him. In fact, he used to say this about me. And he's like, you are so resistant up front. But the great thing about you, Nick, is that one day later or 2 days later, you always come back and you update, your mind. It takes you a day or two to really get it. And then, the Play-Doh kind of works together, and then you open up to it. And then now we're having a real conversation, because I'd usually call him a day later and say, hey, I was thinking about what you said. And, that's just the way that it goes. Okay. So, Trisha, you asked, are the quality leads we generate in any way connected to our ideal clients? What do you mean by, I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Are the quality leads we generate in any way connected to our ideal clients? I mean, feel free to ask a follow-up question on this, but I'm going to answer this the way that I'm thinking about it. I think the thing is that you got to try to find where the highest quality lead sources are going to be for you, right? For some people, it might be art shows or festivals. Other people, it might be, online Facebook groups, influencers, all that stuff. For other people, it might be all of the above. And for Art Storefronts members, just to reiterate, in the marketing resource vault, there is a resource in there called it's an idea list for generating leads. And it's this massive long list of stuff that Art Storefronts members have done and that we've done and worked with them on to generate quality leads. So it's basically a way for you to just go through those things one by one, dip your toe in, try some different things. But if you are trying these different things, you will ultimately find where the highest quality leads are coming from. But in general, I don't want you guys to to worry too much about like, is this the perfect quality or not? The biggest problem everybody has is they're not generating enough leads. And if you generate enough leads as a percentage, a percentage of them is going to be quality. So just get the leads going. Just be generating emails and emails and emails and emails, and so long as you're, with your lead capture tool, when you're driving people to your site, if you're using the best practices lead capture tool, then you will know whether they are quality or not, because they will opt in. Those people will opt in and try and get that discount from you. And that's how you know right off the bat whether you're onto something. So yeah, that list does exist. It's huge, especially for those of you who, if you're a new business or if you haven't sold much yet, like that's where you got to go. Go right to that list. Not every single thing is going to work for you, but and use that list to generate your own ideas. That's really what I want. I want you to go through that thing, and I don't want you to overinvest in any of them. I want you to dip your toe in and run like an experiment to see if that, if any of those things can get some traction. And if they do, then that's when you go a little bit further, right? And then you go even further than that. And then, you ultimately reach a point where if that is a quality lead source, if it's generating leads. And by the way, another thing too is, by definition, anywhere you are making sales is a quality lead source. So you have to look at it like, okay, wait, am I generating as many leads as I can from that lead source? And I can't remember which member it was, but they asked me a couple of weeks ago. They were like, I have this co-op gallery. I'm in this co-op gallery and I sell really well in this co-op gallery, Nick, what can I do to take that even further? And I said, well, can you be collecting leads there? And it just clicked. And she was like, yes, you're right. That is exactly what I need to be doing. I need to be collecting more leads there, because anywhere that you are making sales, you should be collecting like 20 to 30 times the amount of leads. So if you make 5 sales at anywhere, right? Like I'll just use the art show as an example. If you make 5 sales from an art show, if you make 5 sales from a specific tactic online, right? You should be able to get 100 emails from that source. So it's like 20 times, right? Roughly. And so if you're not doing that, then that's what you want to do. You want to just milk that thing as much as you possibly can. So anywhere you are making sales, is going to be a quality lead source for you. So when you try any of those tactics on that list, if you get a sale, you might not get a bunch of emails right off the bat, but if you get a sale, it needs to, something in your mind needs to go, wait a second here. I got a sale. Like maybe you didn't execute the lead strategy right. Maybe you just need to tweak a couple things, but the fact that you got a sale is the first sign that something is right with that lead source, with that strategy, with that approach. And it should stop you in your tracks, and you should go, okay, wait a minute. What do I need to do here now? I got a sale, or I got 2 sales, right? What do I need to do next? How can I turn this into leads? How can I expand all of this and, take that traction further? All right. So, Mickey asked, I think I've gotten 1 lead from my lead magnet. I've gotten a few dozen from giveaways. It's hard to still think positive with such a low response. Yeah, Mickey, you just gotta, any business just has to, you got to put leads in the funnel one way or the other. And so here's what I'll give you some positivity. Here's some positivity that, if this is like, if those are the numbers of your results right now, you basically just haven't even gotten started yet. Like nobody is seeing your art. Nobody even knows about your business. And so you're just literally getting started. So I just want to make sure that mentally you're not like, my business is failing and nobody likes my art and all that stuff. No, it's just, we always use this analogy, but it's like you've got the restaurant and you probably have amazing food. Your artwork is the product, right? But nobody knows about the restaurant. And so, you got to just get people in the door and they try the food and they go, this is amazing, right? So you're just getting started and there's nothing to be discouraged about. You just gotta start getting leads in the funnel. It's how every business starts. Every business has to start from scratch. It's not that fun, but nothing good comes easy. There's a quote that I I'm going to pull it up on my computer. I can't show it to you guys, but just to remind myself of what it is, I think I want you guys to see it because it is very important. Where is it? Okay, it is, if an opportunity weren't guarded by difficulties, it would have already been harvested, right? I love that. I love that. It's basically nothing good comes easy. And it's also the reason where, I have that video that I did, that rant on the #1 differentiator for photographers and artists. And it's like, I love it because whenever I talk to anybody and they're like, the market is so crowded, anybody calls themselves an artist and everybody has a phone in their pocket. How do I compete? How do I compete? And I sit there and I go, this is the lowest competition market I've ever seen. I mean, the quantity of photographers and artists that we talk to at Art Storefronts, I mean, just so you guys know, we get like 50 to 75 demo requests a day. We get about 250 people subscribing to our blog. And let me tell you, nobody wants to do the work. Nobody. Everybody's lazy. Everybody just like, hey, where can I upload my work to any marketplace and all that stuff? Whatever's easy is exactly what is not going to work. Whatever the conventional wisdom is, whatever like all the lazy millions of people are going to do, that's the stuff that's not going to work. Why? By definition, it can't. It's going to be the highest competition. Your artwork, no matter what your subject matter is going to be side by side with 10, 20, 30, 40 other people doing the exact same thing. And you're all just price competing and it's a race to the bottom, right? And when I say race to the bottom, it just means that the prices just keep getting cheaper because that's the only way that you end up competing. It's terrible. Yeah. So actually just, doing the work that other people won't do, you have a serious competitive advantage. And I love it because I think every Art Storefronts member has an advantage right off the bat, just because we're treating it like a real business. We're telling the truth. Anybody that is successful in business will tell you there's no such thing as passive income. So the sooner you get that out of your head, the billionaires will tell you there's no such thing. Even if you want to buy commercial real estate property and think that you're going to live off the income, you'll soon learn that you're dealing with tenants and leases and negotiations and sales and all these different things and hassles and insurance. And it's a business. It's not passive. There's no such thing as passive income. So you got to get those things out of your head and just execute step by step. Don't even worry about it. You've got an advantage simply by, doing direct marketing. I think direct marketing is the total advantage because it's what everybody else is not willing to do. And it just blows my mind. But I mean, it's hard to get Art Storefronts members to do it. I mean, just think about that. And those are the people, the Art Storefronts members are the smartest people that I know in this industry. They're the smartest because, I think you guys are all very logical. You understand that you're running a business and you need to, invest in your business and what you need to grow. And, you've already separated yourself in that way. So just keep going, fight the fight and attend these workshops, that we're doing on Tuesdays and Fridays. I want to help you. And I will help you. I will help you hack through your new business to find ways to get leads and, to talk through whether things are working or not and what to shift to. All right. Kimberly said, I've noticed that more people are online. Traffic seems to be increasing even though I'm using the same targeting. I totally agree. We're seeing the same thing at Art Storefronts, not really doing anything different. There is a lot of attention out there right now. There's no doubt about it. When we say attention, like that's kind of a common term in the marketing world of like, it's essentially what people are paying attention to, like what devices they're on. Are they on their TVs? Are they on their phones? Are they on social media? So yeah, there's a lot of attention on social media right now, on people's computers. They're probably opening emails or looking at more emails than normal. They're looking at more posts than normal. You have such a great opportunity right now, you guys, to brighten people's day. I really can't say enough about that. I mean, there's a lot of creativity happening in our group. You notice like Cynthia Decker posted yesterday, she had a little PDF for kids to work on. There's a great opportunity right now to just grow your list. I really believe that. So I would try to take advantage of that as much as possible. Scott said, I struggle with the complexity of FB and IG ads for lead generation, and I've hired a third party to see if they can be effective for me. After 3 to 4 weeks, mixed results, expensive. My thoughts is, I don't know who the third party is. I would actually talk to John Lechner, one of our members. He's kind of doing like a paid marketing service for some Art Storefronts members who would rather just pay for it. If you don't have any traction yet, and you're a new business, I do not recommend doing that. You don't know enough about your leads and your possible customers and your niche. It's not worth spending money on ads to do that. You need to hack the different ways. And what I mean by that is go to that list I was referring to earlier, the list that's in the marketing resource vault for members on generating qualified leads or generating leads. And I would be looking for, tactics like that work. And then pouring gasoline on that as much as you can and learning as much as you can about your customers. In general though, Scott, Facebook and IG ads, they are hard. And Patrick has a course on them. Again, it's in the vault. And he did that recently because it was I think it was updated in January, to make sure that if you are going to spend money on ads, that you spend it in the right ways first, because there's higher return on investment ways of doing that. Like, for example, going after warm traffic or people that know you first before you start going after cold. So that's my thoughts on that. If you have any follow-ups on that, I'm happy to talk about it. The other thing too, Scott, I'll just say this, is just make sure your targeting is right. There are ways, look, you can waste a lot of money on Facebook ads. I've spent millions of dollars on Facebook ads. No joke. I have spent millions on Facebook and Instagram ads. And I have wasted, I don't even want to think about how much of that spend has been wasted, but hundreds of thousands of it has been completely and utterly flushed down the toilet by doing stupid things. And I think that my takeaway from years of doing paid marketing online is targeting is everything. Over time, you will learn and get better targeting when you start getting results. So like, it's always going to be most expensive up front, and then you can optimize and make it cheaper. But some of the mistakes that you make are like, people go too broad. They try to like, hey, my market is all over the world, so I will, allow, my customer, or I will show ads all over the world. Don't do that. Don't do that. Like, start small, play small ball. Like United States. And even if you have, content that's specific to a region or a city, like start in that city. Don't even do the state. Do the city first, then the state, then the country. Just go small. Also with the age group, make sure the age group is not, you're not showing these ads to like 18 to 30-year-olds. I just don't think that that's a great art buying, community. Another thing that I've done, and I'm not trying to offend anyone, is we've played with things like college degree. And here's the mindset, right? It doesn't mean that people without college degrees, like somebody will say, well, somebody without a college degree has bought my art, right? Well, yeah, you're right. I have a mentor, one of my closest mentors. This guy's worth $100 million, and he didn't go to college, and he's dyslexic, right? So he already breaks that rule. But an important point here, the point I'm trying to make is that when you are doing paid marketing, you're not trying to show ads and pay for ads for every possible customer type. You're trying to look for which customer type is the most ideal, that's going to convert at the highest rate, and then eliminate everything outside of that and start there, right? Start there and then branch out, because you need to make a return on investment on your money spent. And so the way to do that is to tighten your targeting as much as possible and get results, and then loosen it up over time if you want to. Okay. I hope that helps. Where are the workshops happening? YouTube and other places. We're typically doing them on Facebook, Trisha, at least for now. But actually for you guys, for Art Storefronts members, we have a Zoom link that we post. Zoom is the like video conferencing. We post that in the Small Wins group for you guys only. And that's how you hop on to the conference, so that we can unmute you and talk to you. Because I want to hear your question. I want to talk to you. I'd love to see all your faces too. It's a blast, honestly. It's really a treat to be able to see all of you guys and work with you guys. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, but you will see it, you will see it in the art marketing calendar, and you will see it in the weekly focus that's in the group. You'll see, we had a meeting about it at the end of last week, and we decided that it needed to go, the links need to go there so that, you know, whenever you come back and you want to attend one, you'll be able to find it really easily. You'll know exactly when it's happening. The other thing that we're doing too is that we kind of have 3 buckets. So like every week, we're going to focus on one bucket on the Tuesday meeting, which is, so the 3 buckets are based on your sales level, essentially, or like where your business is. So the first one is, and this one's happening on this upcoming Tuesdays, for new businesses or people with no sales, like, or little less than, what we say is like less than 10 sales in the last year or something like that. You're basically a new business and you're hacking away. You're a startup. You're working on that list. You know, I want to talk to you guys. So that's that workshop. The next bucket is for people who have sold well offline traditionally, but just not well online. The third bucket is for people selling well. Okay. So every week, it's going to be one or the other of those 3, and then it just repeats after that. And so it will be on the calendar. You'll always be able to see, I want you guys always to be able to see when the next one is coming, so that when you have your questions, you're ready for it. You can also pop on any of the others. There's nothing, like, you guys can take part in all of the others. And if you have any urgent need, the ones that we do on Friday as well, ask your questions. Like, we'll get you answers. Cool, Trisha. I'm excited to chat with you on that. Anybody else have anything? Any other questions that you want to go over? Any other topics? Scott, this is Nick. Patrick's the other guy. All right. Well, if you enjoyed it, guys, leave a comment. Leave a review. If you guys are loving these things, I would love for you guys to leave a review on our Facebook page or on Google. You can do that too. That's my fuel. That's my fuel. Every time we get a new review, our team will actually post it like to me, because they know that that's like my reward. I'm not even looking at like it's not like the financial reward, right? Like, it doesn't even matter. But if I hear back from you guys that this stuff helped you, and I'm changing the way that you're thinking about your business, and I'm impacting your life, that's the fuel. That's like my reward. So if that happens, please let me know, because I want to hear it. Yeah, you guys got it. You're welcome. Thank you, Kimberly. YouTube has been interesting here, so we'll see how this goes in the future. But yeah, we're focused on Facebook. I just wanted to try it on here and see what happens. See if we could catch more of you. Anyways, hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Look forward to chatting with you guys this week. All right, talk to you later.